Whoa. Guys, look at this
Hey.
fucking video. Dan Schneider talks about quiet on set. Oh my god.
Hey, it's Boogie. I played T-Bone on Nickelodeon's iCarly. I got a chance to watch the Quiet on Set program, and I reached out to Dan to see if it was something that he'd be willing to discuss. I'm pleased to say that he
Wow.
said yes. Dan, how are you?
I'm okay. I really appreciate you reaching out and giving me the opportunity to talk to you about what we saw over the last 2 nights.
I'm
God, look at
glad
his
you're here
neck.
because I believe this is important.
He like
Which,
this.
We've got a lot of things to unpack.
Holy shit.
But before I dive into my list of
Damn,
topics
bro.
that I'd like
T-Bow
to
on the
discuss,
other side. That's
is there
crazy.
anything you'd like to start off with?
Absolutely. Watching over the past 2 nights was very difficult.
Yeah.
Me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret. And I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
Let's talk about
Wow.
the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content
Ew.
yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position.
You don't regret
It was the wrong
shit.
thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody
Massages?
that I ever put in that situation. And even additionally, I apologize to the people who were walking around.
He just sorry
Video
he got
Village or
caught.
wherever they happened, because there were
Yeah,
lots of
that's
people
so true,
there who
Panda.
witnessed it, who also may have felt uncomfortable.
Def
so
not.
I owe them an apology as well.
Yeah. Dan, talk to
FR.
me about the writer's room. From what I saw,
He would get the stars to
Not
give him
cool.
massages.
No, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right to the chase, let me just say, no writer should ever feel uncomfortable in any writer's room, ever, period, the end, no excuses.
Okay.
Most TV writers, comedy writers have been in writers' rooms and they are aware.
What
that
happened
a lot
in
of
the
times
writers'
there are
room?
inappropriate
Bro,
jokes
I gotta
and
watch this
inappropriate
shit.
Topics come up. But the fact that I participated in that,
I just
especially
know
when I was
Nickelodeon
leading the
fighting
room,
for They Lives right now.
It embarrasses me. I
God.
shouldn't have done it.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Remember when Nickelodeon's logo was a foot? Talk about crazy foreshadowing, my nigga. That's crazy.
I can tell you why it hurts really bad for me. I remember very clearly my early experiences, my
Yeah.
first experiences in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
I was green, I was scared, I was excited. It meant the world
So
to me
weird.
that I was getting those opportunities. And I went in and I got lucky because they were great. My first couple of experiences were fantastic.
Dan's
And
influence.
the fact that I didn't pay that forward to every employee that walked through my door.
Hey, whatever
hurts my
these
heart,
niggas
and I
did,
should have.
fucked
And I
up
wish I could go
Amanda
back and fix
Bynes.
that. In the writer's room,
Whatever they did, bro.
There's no doubt.
gotta
that
watch the
sometimes those
documentary
jokes went
soon.
Beyond the
Yeah,
pale.
we gotta
Vance
watch
has
that
so
shit.
much power, he has them
went too
doing feet
far, or
stuff.
made practical jokes that went too
Yeah.
far, and that was wrong. And that was
Let's turn
because,
TTS off
you
for
know, I was
this.
an inexperienced producer. I was immature. Wouldn't happen today, but I'm just really sorry it happened.
yeah. Now we know you've had a lot of success over.
Oh
2
my
decades.
God, bro.
Thousands of people have worked.
I heard
with
about
you
the
for
shit
it.
with Drake Bell,
Let's
though.
speak directly to the people who did not have a good experience with you.
Okay, I would like to speak to those people because I hate that anybody worked for me and didn't have a good time. You know me. You've been on my sets.
Why T-Bow look like he
I've had
knows some
employees
shit?
that have worked for me for 10 years, some more than 20 years, who would work with me again. But not everybody. There's still a significant number that didn't have a great time working for me. So my batting average isn't nearly high enough in that area. And the way they wouldn't get the best of me is that I would let
This
the
shit's so
pressure
calculated, bro.
of doing 40 or even more episodes per year, I would let that pressure get to me, which a good boss should never, ever do.
Was there specific things that you were doing?
Sure, I would snap at people sometimes. I
Oh.
would be snarky when I could have given them a nicer answer. I would not give people the time that they needed. I would be in too big a hurry to get on to the next thing I had to do. And watching that show, it made me, there were so many times I wanted to pick up a phone and call some of those people and say, I'm so sorry and let's talk about it. And I wish you'd had a better time and I wish I could have shown you a better experience.
Yeah. Now, you've written hundreds of episodes. Thousands of jokes have been told.
Yeah.
But currently, where we are,
I want them to talk about the fucking.
some of those jokes are inappropriate
feet shit.
for children. What do you
What's
think?
up, Ghosty? What's up, Marsh?
All these jokes that you're speaking of,
Yeah, what about
that
him?
the show covered over the past 2 nights. Every one of those jokes was written for a kid audience because kids thought they were funny and only funny.
Okay, hold up. What joke, bro? There's a lot of like like kind of insinuating crazy shit. Like freaky deaky shit. Nah, this is Dan Schneider. He is talking about fucking the documentary that came out. That's what they're talking about right now.
Now we have some adults
I heard about Amanda
looking
Bynes,
back at
bro.
them 20 years later through their lens, and they're looking at them and they're saying, oh, I don't think that's appropriate for a kid show. Mm-hmm. And I have no problem with that. If that's how anyone feels, let's cut those jokes out of the show. Just like I would have done 20 years ago or 25 years ago. I cut it. I want my shows to be popular. I want everyone to like. The more people who like the shows, the happier I am.
Yeah.
So if there's anything in a show that needs to be cut because it's upsetting somebody, let's cut it.
So I think it's big for you to say with your work, if it's viewed as that today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it. Cut it.
I mean, that's a solution.
The last thing I want to ever do
Yeah.
is put any content in a show that's going to upset my audience.
But
and
if
make
you
them
cut it, bro, you
uncomfortable.
can't go
Why would
back.
I ever want to do
That
that?
makes sense. I want to give you an opportunity to kind of elaborate on something.
Okay.
The thought process from
Is
the
there?
series is
Hold
you
on.
have-
Is there even a way to cut it to where like there's no way, bro? There's no way, bro. That shit gotta be 23 minutes with fucking 10 minutes of fucking ads. Bam, 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 bam. Head ass.
the power to just
There's
write
no
a
way.
joke, and no matter what, it's going on TV. You just had that type of power. Is that true?
The notion that I had the power to just produce whatever I wanted and have it air is completely false.
Okay.
Ooh,
There were
so Nickelodeon
many,
into
many
this shit.
levels of scrutiny. Okay, we had executives in LA. We had executives in New York.
So two coasts.
Two coasts
Okay.
of
Both
approval. Yes, and by the way, approval at every stage, really.
Okay.
And I'm talking about wardrobe. I'm talking about
Okay.
makeup, sound, sets, dialogue, jokes, everything.
No, when you say
So they
approval,
knew.
these, obviously that's a hierarchy, not your colleagues or
right.
people in the room. Okay.
No, not my colleague. No, these are my bosses. Bosses, and then their bosses, and then their bosses. And they're approving all of this stuff.
Okay.
Okay. And we're also shooting it in front of all sorts of adults.
Hey, bro.
and
What about?
caregivers.
Hey, bro. What about the fucking? Hey, talk about the real shit, bro. Talk about the fucking the little fucking mansion parties with all the like girls who are young that had to go to like the pool parties and shit. Talk about that shit, bro. Fuck all this bullshit. Who cares about the fucking jokes you're insinuating? Oh, it's jokes. Who gives a fuck? There are worse jokes out there. Okay, fuck a joke. Let's talk about the mansion parties where all the fucking producers and shit was with them little girls, bro. That's what I want to know.
And the set teacher and the families, everybody's watching it. And if anybody had said anything, hey, we don't like that. That's not appropriate. Then it would
I
have
don't
been
know,
cut
bro.
out.
That's
Now,
the type of shit I would have been
I'm gonna
asking.
push back a little bit
Sure.
because the series painted you in this way that you were just the guy that was doing what he wanted, and people were afraid to confront you about things. So say, just humor me. Say that was the case. What would have been
Get in
the
there,
ultimate
Tebow.
way to
Okay. If nobody on the set, if all of the dozens and dozens of adults that were on the set, if they didn't say anything,
It is Tebow.
If my bosses said, if they insisted, you got to make a change here, you got to cut that, I had to do it. I had no choice.
got it? Now this next
Yeah,
one,
they're not gonna go back and
kinda
redo
hit
the
close to home.
scenes.
Being a new father, I wouldn't be opposed to my child being in the entertainment industry. Doesn't matter what age. Yeah. Seeing some of those on-air dares, seeing it now from where you are now
On-air
in your
dares.
life, what do you think of that?
I think that some of the on-air dares went too far. I think they pushed the envelope too far. Not all of them. Not
On-air
most of them,
dares.
Some did.
I gotta watch this shit,
Nickelodeon
bro.
wanted to do their version of Fear Factor. At the time we were shooting All That, so I was tasked with doing these on-air dares with the All That cast. So we get with the writers and we come up with all these ideas, and it's hard to do because we don't have the budget of Fear Factor, and we can't put the kids in dangerous situations like the adults are put in. So
Kids.
it was hard to come up with stuff. But we would come up with all these ideas of dares they could do.
You know-
we would give them to the network, and they would say,
I could see that.
Tell us the ones that were okay.
Right.
Those are
Cause
the ones we
Nickelodeon,
shot.
bro,
Those are the ones that
they're like, hey, bro,
At the
get this
time,
shit done,
I
bro.
had no indication that any kid ever had a problem with them.
Okay.
But when I was
I can
watching
see
the
that if
show
he's
over
not
the past
really
2
into
nights,
some weird
I
shit.
now know that there were kids who did have problems with the on-air dares. And it breaks my heart. And I'm so sorry. I am so sorry to any kid who ever had to do a dare or anything that they didn't want to do or weren't comfortable doing. We went out of our way to make sure they were safe and that everything was done properly. But if a kid was scared and didn't want to do it, kids shouldn't have had to do it.
Yeah.
Period, the end.
Right.
And if I had known at the time, I would have changed it on the spot.
Now, we also saw the series highlight two former writers' viewers, two women, who spoke about a wage discrepancy. Now, I know that you don't divvy out salaries. Talk to me about that part.
Well, you're correct. I have nothing to do with paying writers. I never have. I've never made a writer's deal. And of all the writers I've been in a writer's room with, I never even knew how much most of them were getting paid.
Yeah, but we saw these two women who were writers for you sharing one salary. How does that happen?
It's very simple. There's a common practice in television when hiring writers. If you have a spot for a new writer, sometimes you'll go to two writers and say, hey, if you two new writers for your first job are willing to share a salary, you can both have the job. They have the opportunity to say, yes, that sounds good, or no, no thank you. In this case, it was two women writers. I've done another show where that teaming was done with two male writers, and they split a salary. I did another show where
Hey,
it was a
man,
male
fuck all
and a
this
female
bullshit.
writer, and they split a salary. So
I want to
these are
get
all
down to the
first-time
weird
writers.
shit.
all first-time writers looking for their first gig.
Got it. Now, in the series, they also highlighted two black actors who said that they felt overlooked. Now, I want to be clear. I'm never going to speak on anyone else's journey. Yeah? I can talk about my experience, how my experience was with you, what I saw prior to working with you. But again, I don't
Need
want to
energy?
speak
All
on
right, I got you.
anyone's journey. I saw you be honored for diversity in your work.
Yes, and the reason for that is diversity has always been very important to me in my shows. If you go back to the very first Nickelodeon show I ever made, that's very evident, as it is in the second one, and then the first movie I ever made for Nickelodeon, which starred Kenan and Kel, and every show I did after that had a lead black actor in it. I'm very proud of that. It's very important to me. And not only am I proud that
What
they
Tebow look like?
remember
you like, all right, bitch.
exceptionally proud of
Big ass
the
bitch.
achievements
I
they've
know
had
you on some
beyond my
shit.
shows, and they've gone on to bigger and better things, and that gives me a great sense of pride.
Well, something that really kind of bothered me
Man,
was
bro.
how they depicted your relationship with the cast.
Yeah, it bothered me too.
Yeah, just me being there, I knew the dynamic was trust. I understood that in situations where they may have
Okay,
had
hold
turmoil,
up.
whether it be with their families, whether it be other castmates, they came to you. Versus how they made you look. With that said, Amanda Bynes was brought up in the series and her emancipation and how you were involved in that. Can you talk to us about it a bit?
Sure. Amanda was between the ages of 16
What
and
the
17.
fuck is Just Jordan?
And she wanted to get emancipated from her parents, which was a fairly common thing with successful young actors, at least at the time.
Sure.
And she wanted that for herself. So she turned to her team, which included her lawyer, her agent, her manager, her publicist.
Yo, guys, after this
so
video,
she
I gotta
included
play
me
a
as
game,
part of
so
her
Kim,
team,
you-
thought of me that way. We supported her. She tried to get emancipated. It ended up not working out.
You
She
can
didn't.
watch
Well, since we're
videos
here, let's stay
after.
here for a moment.
Just keep
There was
the
also
link.
an incident
Go, Steve.
where she had ran away from home, if
Yes.
you would. Can you talk to us a little bit just to clear the air of exactly what happened in that situation?
Yes. One night, it was very late, well after midnight, 1 or 2 in the morning. Phone rang. I answered. It was Amanda. She was upset. She was in distress. She had had some conflict with her parents, I think her father, and she called me. I was
Yo.
immediately concerned.
Amanda Bynes' parents are fucking wild, bro. Y'all ever hear the story about how, like, when she tried to get married, they wouldn't, like, allow her because they have, like, legal something on her where, like, they control her life, basically. It's fucking crazy, bro. Actually nuts.
About her safety.
They have control of her money, everything,
I
bro.
called
It's
someone who I
fucking
knew was
wild.
fairly nearby. That person was able to go and pick her up. Then I knew she was safe. I felt better. She ended up being taken to the police.
Well, regardless of what some people may think.
It's kind of like the same shit that Britney Spears
you are
had.
there for people when they need you. That said, let's talk about some of the things that have just been swirling forever.
Okay.
You were banned from your set.
Yeah, no, she did
Never,
not.
never happened. That is a false rumor.
What happened?
Add it to the list of false rumors.
Talk to me. What happened?
They were adult actresses at the time, and they had their own specific reasons for not wanting to do the show anymore. I'm not judging that. It got tense, and what they don't know, maybe, is I did everything I could to make that show go away. My producer partner at the time, we would call and say, this is not a good situation.
Okay.
So I decided I'm going to do what most showrunners do, which is,
Oh,
you're not
yeah,
on the
he's
set.
still
There's
rich,
a
bro.
director there to shoot it. I'll go up to the writers.
They gave him like not billions. What the fuck? They gave him like millions to resign.
Every detail of every show so
Yeah.
much. For me not to be on the set, yeah, maybe some people thought I got banned.
So it was more of an assumption because this guy's usually here.
Yeah, they gave
and
him
now
millions
he's not.
to like resign.
I don't know if it was an assumption. I don't know if somebody thought they were making me look bad by saying I
Yeah,
got
he
banned from the
rich.
set. I have no idea.
Okay.
All I know is I was never banned from the set.
Yep. The darkest part of this series discuss child predators. Now, I want to make sure that we
Okay.
clear a couple of things up.
Okay?
Brian Peck was not hired by you.
No, I did not hire Brian Peck.
This was a Tolan Robbins production?
Yeah. And when Drake and I talked and he told me what had happened, I was more devastated by that than anything that ever happened to me in my career thus far.
Oh wow.
And I told him, I'm here for you. What do you need? Which Drake mentioned in the show that we watched last night. And next, I heard that he went to court when this guy was being tried, Peck. And when Drake walked in, he saw 50 people sitting on the side of the courtroom
Oh wow.
supporting Peck. A lot of them pretty famous. Of course, Drake was devastated that happened. And even more disappointing, 41 of those people wrote letters for Peck, character letters, praising him for who
Wow.
he was and asking for leniency. And they knew that he was guilty. They knew he had confessed to some degree.
Wow.
And they still did this. That's baffling that adults would do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people know this, but Drake's mom, a lovely woman who I stay in contact with this day, she came to me at the time and she said, Dan, I'm not good with words like you are. And would you help me with my speech for the judge? And I said, of course. And I did. And
Oh, wow.
he ended up going to prison and serving his time. And yeah, that was probably the darkest part of my career. And
Wow.
here's the kicker that
That's
I
kinda crazy,
really
though.
don't get. After he got out of prison and was, to my knowledge, a registered sex offender, he was hired on a Disney Channel show. I don't understand that. I don't understand.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that, man. Are you okay? You want to take a minute?
Yeah, I'm all right. Let's keep going.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we really unpacked some important things. We set the record straight on a lot of things.
Man, bring up the mentions.
I appreciate the vulnerability that you use in knowing that there's definitely things that you would have and should have done differently. Is there anything that we haven't discussed? Anything
Hey,
that
Dan
if
got
we
some
go
nigga
back
in
and
him, bro.
Navigate the journey differently. What would that look like?
Yeah, there's definitely things that I would do differently. One that I think would be
said-
really, really important is
I might.
when you're hiring young actors, minors, to work in television, I would suggest that we have a licensed therapist there to oversee that process for the specific reason of making sure that those kids really wanted to do this job, that they really wanted to be on television. Maybe they should even be informed about what that means. What's it going to mean if you're famous? What's that going to mean on social media? What's it going to mean within your family? Let them find out. And then that way, if a kid doesn't want to be on a TV show, they can opt out. That psychologist, that therapist could come to us and say, this kid doesn't want to do it, or their parents aren't understanding of what's going to come. And then we could avoid the mistake of ever putting a kid in a TV show that didn't want to be there. And additionally, the main thing that I would change is how I treat people and everyone. I definitely at times didn't give people the best of me. I didn't show enough patience. I could be cocky and definitely overambitious, and sometimes just straight up rude and obnoxious. And
Damn,
I'm
bro.
so sorry that I ever was. And
What y'all think, chat?
when I watched the show, I could see the hurt in some people's eyes, and it made me feel awful and regretful and sorry.
Wow.
I wish I could go back, you know, especially to those earlier years of my career, and bring the growth and the experience
Bring up the feet,
that I have
bro.
now, and just do a better job, and never ever feel like it was okay to be an asshole to anyone ever. Look, I wanted to make funny TV shows for kids, and we definitely did that. But if I could go back, I would get it done in different ways. I'd just be nicer.
I'll be honest, bro. Listen, I'm about to say some crazy shit because when you're a kid, bro, and you're watching that shit, you don't really know what's going on. Like, you're just like, aha, like, this is a fire-ass show. Bam. iCarly was fire. You just, like, when you're a kid, you don't fucking question any of it, right? But when you get older and you, like, really just start to see, like, you gotta really think about, there are adults making these shows for kids. They're not understanding what, like, the power of that they have, like the power that they have to make a kid show. Like, if somebody was like, yo, make a kid show right now that's funny and entertaining, and you'll get paid millions. I really couldn't see a way of doing it. Like, if you wanted it to be popular, I can't really see a way of doing it. Like, imagine if iCarly was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was, like, widely different with different jokes, yeah, you could use different jokes and shit, but, like, would it be as popular? You know? Because, like most people wouldn't be as funny as they are without, like, bro, imagine, this is going to be crazy. Imagine Bobby Altoff as fucking Sam on iCarly. That shit would throw you the fuck off. That shit would be boring as fuck. I'll be real. It's just, like, I just see how, like, I can get an understanding of how, like, executives could really have a way in this shit too, you know? It's not, like, everybody wants to just blame Dan Schneider, but I feel like it's a lot of the higher ups too, because they can approve this shit or not approve. Like, they're the ones who are like, yo, what's the world gonna think? You know? And some shit just ages not very well, you know? It just doesn't. I don't think it's just him though. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of motherfuckers that we probably missing out on, bro. And it's not just fully him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he probably did some wild shit. I mean, I know he did some crazy shit. Like, I've heard all the stories of shit that be going on, and I really don't think it's only just him, though. Like, a lot of it has to do with all the other niggas. Like, it's way, way, way more deep than than this. Like, this is just the surface. Yeah, bro, he's just the beginning.
And I would do everything that I could to make sure that everyone had a good experience. That's what I do differently.
Dan, I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you.
Wow. Hey, you know what's crazy, bro? See what I'm saying, bro? Like talk about this shit, bro. Talk about this shit right here, bro. Like this what I want to know. Why you got your shirt on in the pool with Amanda Bynes? Like, what is this, bro? This the type of shit he should have brought up. I'll be real, bro. I don't know. I don't fucking know, bro. I gotta watch that series, though. I want to watch that shit. Oh, God. I want to watch that series. I really gotta watch it, because that's fucking wild. That's crazy.